So, I saw someone crying online about how she sold everything. The husband and her sold everything, in fact, including the house they were living in, to go to Canada to do what? To study. You see, when you tell people the truth online, many don't listen. I had to, at a time, at some point, stop posting Canada videos, Canada and Canada Jackpot videos, because basically there is nothing encouraging right now about going to Canada, about selling things to go to Canada. But in this video, I'm going to tell you when to sell. You see, it's not as if selling things to travel to Japan for a greener pasture, for a better life does not worth it. Whoever that is telling you that it's not worth it is not telling you the whole truth. It's worth it to sell, okay, to Japan, to, you know, upgrade your life, get foreign experience, get foreign education. It is worth it. Don't misunderstand me. It is worth it. However, what we're trying to say is that when do you sell? Is it actually worth it to sell at a particular time? These are what I'm going to handle in this video, giving you information as far as I have known with my experience being in Canada, and have seen people who sold things to move to Canada. So if this topic is of interest to you, click on this on the like button, okay, and also to subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so. For this is Inspiration Gist with Dora, where we discuss real life issues that affect us in our societies. Today, in this era now, what we're talking about is Jackpot, going abroad. See, this era we are in now, this is the era of globalization. This is the era of migration. People are moving from different climes. People are moving from Africa to Europe to America. And people are also moving from America, from North America to Asia to Australia, everywhere. There's this cross carpeting, if you want to call it that. People are moving. And this is thanks to globalization, thanks to the fact that the world is now a small village, so you can move around. Okay, yes. Now, what we're going to talk about is the disadvantage of selling what you have acquired over the years in order to go to an unknown place, a place where you do not know anything, and you don't know anybody, you do not have anybody, and you do not even have any job waiting for you on arrival. This is where it gets dicey. Okay, so these people, the reference story is that these couples sold, the wife got admission to go and study in Canada, and they needed to raise money for school fees to pay in order to get visa. So the wife was so optimistic that she convinced the husband to sell the house, the very house they were occupying as landlords, so that they will raise money to pay school fees. And then after, so in order to get their visa, and all of them will jackpot. If you sell to pay school fees, what will you now do in order to buy tickets? What will you now do in order to start afresh when you get there? Do you know that when you get to Canada, even as a student, that even though you are promised that you're going to get job, you start working as a student and pay your school fees, that is the story everyone is told down there. Okay, it's true. Fine. I don't want to say it's not true. It is true. But when do you really start working? Is it immediately you arrive? Like you arrive in January, you start working in February? Do you think it's possible? The honest truth is that you can stay 4 months, 5 months in Canada without having found a job, even as a student, even as a permanent resident who has the right to work as long as he wishes to. Students are only allowed to work for 24 hours in a week. That means it's a part-time job. And some companies are not taking part-time. They want someone to be fully available. So, you're looking for a part-time job, even the permanent resident who has a right to work for a full-time, you still see people who stayed 6 months, 4 months without getting the first job. So if you sell a house in order to pay school fees, What will you now sell in order to have money to sustain yourself and the whole family before you settle down, before you even start working? So it is not wise, even as a permanent resident, it's not wise to sell. However, like I said, I'm going to advise you, tell you when to sell. In this Canada, in abroad, I can tell you that it is actually somehow still, you will be on the it will benefit you in the long run. Okay, so when do you sell? Sell if you have to. Sell if you have to. If you have secured your permanent residence. If you have secured your permanent residence and you want to sell to raise maybe the money that will sustain you while you settle down, the money to buy your flight tickets for the whole family, sell. That I can assure you that with time, okay, it will be a success story once you're determined. Okay, because once you land as a permanent resident, there are so many benefits, there are so many supports that have been put in place by the government to ensure that at least you will not be homeless. If you enter as a permanent resident, you will not be homeless. But if you enter as a student and you're homeless, you're even in trouble. If you owe your landlord, that could also be a problem to you, because you would have stated that you have enough money to sustain you, while you're studying, and you now come, you don't have enough money. So if you have a job offer, like if you have a job offer in Canada and you got a work permit and you needed to come, you don't have money for flight tickets, with a job offer means once you land, at the end of the month, you already have something. But if you need to sell some things in order to raise your flight ticket, if you have a job offer, or to raise flight ticket for the rest of your family members because you don't want to leave anybody behind, I can tell you, sell. That's when you can sell. Okay? If you're a permanent resident, you got a permanent resident and want to come over, if you want to sell everything, sell. And I assure you, it will only take but time. It will only take but a few, just resilience and some time. You get over it, and your story will change. However, if you are coming to study in Canada, even if you already gotten your visa and you have not stepped into Canada, please don't sell. On the other hand, if you have stepped into Canada and you're studying and you got somewhere, you get choked up financially, if you need to sell something back home to pay your fees while you are already in Canada, you can sell. I can tell you, I can advise you, or I can say that's my opinion. Um, I'm not a consultant. So sell. That's me, my opinion, my own opinion. You must not take it. Okay, sell. So because I know that when you are done studying in Canada, you will get something for yourself. Either you get, even if you don't get a job in Canada, and then get a job elsewhere in the world because you have had a world-class education, right? So my people, please, if you see someone who's telling you that you want to sell before, don't sell before you've landed, except you're a permanent resident. Please and please again, it's not even good to sell. But then if you have to, instead of borrowing, you can sell what you have, because you're the one that made the money, you still make it again if if you are alive and well. So that's just what I want to bring your way here. Some people don't like it when you tell them the whole truth online. People don't like it. I had to stop this Canada stories because there's a lot of bad news here and there right now. It is not palatable. Please share this video and keep someone informed about what to do and what not to do with your money before you land in Canada. Thank you so much. I'll see you again in my next video. Don't forget to like, subscribe if you haven't subscribed to this channel, and follow me if you have not started following me. I'll see you again in my next video. Ciao, ciao, ciao.